I'm back to New York now. The mosque. Now, a new controversy over plans to build a house of worship near Ground Zero, but it's not the mosque you're thinking of. This time, it's a church, and not just any church. St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church was crushed beneath the crumbling tower of the World Trade Center on 9/11. But plans to rebuild it are still mired in red tape while the mosque near Ground Zero moves forward. And we're checking this out. David Lee Miller is on this story. David Lee, you were there on the day of 9/11. You've seen this whole area develop. What can you tell us about this emerging controversy over this Greek Orthodox church?
You're right. I was there that day on 9/11, and I will never forget watching the South Tower collapse. And when the South Tower gave way, all that debris crushed the St. Nicholas Church directly below it, essentially destroying that church. And Jenna, as you mentioned, we've heard a great deal about the mosque that has been proposed for near Ground Zero, but St. Nicholas was the only house of worship that was actually destroyed that day. Virtually nothing from the building you're now looking at could be saved, and the Port Authority came up with some type of a deal to rebuild the church, a proposed land swap. Let's take a look at a map now, and I'll explain what the proposed deal was. The Port Authority wanted to construct an underground vehicle security center at the site of the original church, and they proposed swapping a larger piece of land with the church about 100 yards away where a new building would be constructed. They also were going to throw in $20 million. And these talks, Jenna, they dragged on for years and years and years. They were stalled, and just yesterday the Port Authority told us the deal is now officially dead. No more talks. The Port Authority also issued a statement. It said, and I quote, and let's bring this statement on the screen, "The church continues to have the right to build at their original site, and we will pay fair market value for the underground space beneath the building." But for the 70 families who are worshiping at St. Nicholas Church, they now have to continue using a church across the East River in Brooklyn until this entire matter is resolved.
Wow, it sounds like such a mess. I mean, so many parts of that site down there have really been up to a lot of controversy. We see that church, it was beautiful. Is there any sort of reaction or more reaction coming from that community about where they go now or what they're going to do next?
Well, let me say at the very outset, one thing that surprised us, we called the church, we asked for reaction to the statement from the Port Authority, and a spokesman for the church told us, yes, the talks have been stalled, but this is the first time that they heard the Port Authority say, and we're the ones who passed along the message, that in fact this proposal is now dead. Just a few days ago, we actually toured the site with Father Mark Airy of the Greek Diocese, and he tried to actually take us to the site of the church. Here you can see him on the screen, but he was unable to do so because of all the construction. But we asked the Father just last night about the proposal about using the original location, and here's what he had to say.
The site is completely unsuitable at this point. What's being built beneath it, the entire vehicle inspection station, all of that makes it impossible for us, as I understand it, to return to that location at this time.
And yes, there is another complication. According to the Port Authority, if, and it's a pretty big if, the church decides to rebuild at the original location, Jenna, they say the ongoing construction is going to essentially prevent that for about 2 years from taking place. So for many of the people who used to pray at that church, this event on 9/11 for them has really turned into a Greek tragedy.
And look at it, 9 years, nearly 10 years later. Amazing. David Lee, thank you so much for that report. Really something, an interesting side to the story we haven't heard a lot about. And you can learn more about this as well. David Lee's reports, along with other reports about this Ground Zero church project. You just go to foxnews.com, your other news source.